Hello and welcome and namaste from New Delhi. You're watching DDNA Live. I'm Gautam Roy. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is received by his Malaysian counterpart Anwar Ibrahim upon landing in Kuala Lumpur. Tells the Indian diaspora that the nation is seen as a trusted partner for growth by many other countries. Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal says India has secured a zero-duty access for a wide range of its US exports under the interim trade deal framework. And defending champions India begin their ICC T20 World Cup 2026 campaign shortly to face the USA in the inaugural match at the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Malaysian counterpart Anwar Ibrahim participated in a community event, Salamat Datang Modi Ji, in Kuala Lumpur. The PM reached Malaysia earlier on Saturday on a two-day visit to the nation. He'll be holding talks with his Malaysian counterpart on Sunday, after which several MOUs are likely to be exchanged. At the Salamat Datang Modi Ji community event, which was held at the Mines International Exhibition and Convention Centre, over 800 dancers performed the specially choreographed Swagatam, a welcoming performance blending Indian classical and folk forms. This spectacular display successfully entered the Malaysian Book of Records as the largest number of dancers in a single choreographed performance by the diaspora. Prime Minister Modi, accompanied by Prime Minister Anwar, addressed the enthusiastic gathering of nearly 15,000 attendees. While addressing the community event, Prime Minister Modi underscored the enduring friendship between India and Malaysia, declaring that India's success is Malaysia's success and it's Asia's success.
We elevated our ties to a comprehensive strategic partnership. Today, we walk hand in hand as partners towards progress and prosperity. We celebrate each other's success just as our own. I was touched by Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim's good wishes on the historic success of Chandrayaan-3. I agree with you, my dear friend. India's success is Malaysia's success. It is Asia's success. That is why I say the guiding word of our relationship is impact. Impact means India-Malaysia partnership for advancing collective transformation.
Further, the Prime Minister highlighted India's transformed global standing. He said that India, once viewed merely as a vast market, is now recognized as a premier hub for investment and trade.
India was seen just as a huge market. Now, we are a hub for investment and trade. India is seen as a trusted partner for growth. Whether it is the UK, UAE, Australia, New Zealand, Oman, the EU, or USA. countries have trade deals with India. Trust has become India's strongest currency. Friends, India will always embrace you with open arms.
And Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim emphasized the strengthening of bilateral ties in recent years, highlighting personal warmth. Anwar expressed his delight in having Prime Minister Modi as a close personal friend, underscoring the deepening mutual trust and camaraderie that complement robust diplomatic, economic and cultural relations between the two nations.
At a time of great uncertainty in the world, our regions need voices that speak for dialogue over confrontation, for cooperation over narrow self-interest. Malaysia and India can be among those voices. Together with Prime Minister Modi, let me reiterate my commitment to deepen cooperation in trade, technology, education, culture, because the worth of partnership, of any partnership between nations, is measured in the end by the difference it makes to the lives of ordinary people. Prime Minister Modi ji, I followed your struggle, your political tribulations, and may I say this, I am fortunate to be a great personal friend of Modi ji of India.
And the Malaysian PM further highlighted the renewed momentum in bilateral ties. He underscored strengthened cooperation in key sectors, economic partnerships, digital engagement and the vibrant exchange of people and ideas.
Our relationship has steadily expanded, and I am proud to note that in recent years, Malaysia-India relations have gained renewed momentum in economic cooperation, in digital engagement, and in the movement of people and ideas between countries. Prime Minister Modi ji, under your premiership, our bond of friendship, both of us as brothers and our two nations, have grown much stronger.
And we'll keep getting you the latest on Prime Minister Modi's Malaysia visit as it unfolds in Kuala Lumpur. But let's move on for the time being. India and the United States have announced that they have reached a framework for an interim agreement which is going to be mutually beneficial. This is reciprocal and mutually beneficial trade pact that will emerge from it. India's Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal shared that the India-US joint statement on social media, which said that the framework reaffirms the country's commitment to the broader US-India bilateral trade agreement negotiations launched by Prime Minister Narendra Modi and US President Donald Trump on the 13th of February last year, which will include additional market access commitments and support more resilient supply chains. And Prime Minister Modi has hailed the India-US interim trade deal, terming it as a great news for both India and the United States, thanking US President Donald Trump for his commitment to robust ties between India and the US. Prime Minister Modi said this framework reflects the growing depth, trust and dynamism of India-US partnership. In a social media post, the Prime Minister said the agreement strengthens Make in India by opening new opportunities for India's hardworking farmers, entrepreneurs, MSMEs, startup innovators, fishermen and more. It will generate large-scale employment for women and youngsters. The PM further said that India and the United States share a commitment to promoting innovation, and this framework will further deepen investment and technology partnerships between the two nations. He also said that this framework will strengthen resilient and trusted supply chains and contribute to global growth. The PM also stressed, as India moves forward towards building a Viksit Bharat or developed India, we remain committed to building global partnerships that are future-oriented, empower our people and contribute to shared prosperity. Also, India's Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal has hailed the framework announced on the India-US trade agreement. Addressing a press conference in New Delhi on Saturday, the minister said the framework would be etched in golden letters, lowering US tariffs, opening a $30 trillion economy to Indian exports, protecting farmers and providing zero duty access for key Indian exports to the US.
फरवरी 2025 में चर्चा शुरू की थी इस उद्देश्य के साथ कि भारत और यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स के बीच $500 बिलियन का द्विपक्षीय व्यापार हर वर्ष होना चाहिए। उस लक्ष्य को हासिल करने के लिए आज का दिन स्वर्णिम अक्षरों में लिखा जाएगा। यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका, जो दुनिया की सबसे बड़ी अर्थव्यवस्था है, लगभग $30 ट्रिलियन की अर्थव्यवस्था, अब हमारे निर्यातकों के लिए मोस्ट प्रिफर्ड ड्यूटी के साथ खुलती है। और जिस प्रकार से हमारे किसानों के हितों का संरक्षण किया गया है, पूर्णतः संरक्षण किया गया है किसानों का, डेयरी का।
And the minister further added that Indian exporters will now enjoy zero duty on shipments to the United States. Gems and diamonds, pharmaceuticals worth around $13 billion, smartphones and select agricultural products will all be duty-free.
शून्य ड्यूटी लगेगी जब हमारे निर्यातक अमेरिका में, यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स ऑफ अमेरिका में सामान भेजेंगे। उदाहरण के लिए जेम और डायमंड्स पूरी तरीके से शून्य ड्यूटी लगेगी। फार्मास्यूटिकल प्रोडक्ट्स, जो भारत से दवाइयां बड़े रूप में जाती हैं, लगभग $13 बिलियन की, उस पे शून्य ड्यूटी लगेगी। स्मार्टफोन्स जो भारत से बड़े रूप में अमेरिका जाते हैं, उसमें आगे भी चलकर शून्य ड्यूटी ही लगी रहेगी। किसानी क्षेत्र के उत्पाद अब भारत से शून्य ड्यूटी पर अमेरिका में जा सकेंगे और जिसका भारत के निर्यात को फायदा होगा।
The ministers also called this framework agreement as fair and beneficial for particularly India's farmers, manufacturers, innovators, as well as those in the pharma sector. We are joined by Professor Gulshan Sachdeva, School of International Studies at the Jawaharlal Nehru University, to talk about it. What is your assessment of this interim trade agreement framework, Professor?
Well, thank you. Well, I think what Prime Minister said that, this is a good news for both the countries in a sense. We have been talking for the last couple of days now about this deal, and now slowly things are unfolding. But one thing is quite clear, that this is a kind of a framework for an interim agreement which will lead to bilateral trade agreement. And even after bilateral trade agreement, I think both the countries will continue to talk about further reduction in tariffs. So broadly, I think if you look at this statement, it talks about immediate tariff relief and certain numbers and certain products. Then you also have about standards, non-tariff barriers, market access, and then there is also a separate issue of India buying Russian oil, for which there has been a separate, the order has been issued by the President's office. So what it basically tells us that, one thing is that we know that for some time, there has been certain downturn in the India's relations with the United States because and various reasons, and tariffs were one of the reasons. 50% tariffs on Indian products. Now, as a result of this, many of Indian products, particularly labor-intensive products like textile and leather and some other products in the organic chemicals. So they were having difficulties. Workers were having difficulties. The entrepreneurs, they had the problems because they were not able to do that. And some other countries, they were able to work out certain deals with the United States. So now the pattern, and another thing also we have to keep in mind that the negotiation with the United States are something very different than other kind of negotiations we had with other countries. Last week we had deal with the European Union, which we have been negotiating for almost for 2 decades, and the same happened with many other things. Here it's something very different. Outside the WTO framework, President Trump imposed certain tariffs on India, 25 and then 25% from this. And ultimately, most of the countries, they did agreement. I mean, the UK with 10%, 15% with the EU, Japan 15%, and many others, our neighboring countries in Asia, something between 15 to 20%. So somewhere we are there. So that's useful for immediate thing. But of course, since, so the United States has kind of eased certain pressure, we have also opened some of our markets. Some of the, by and large, we have protected our agriculture products, but some of the, since, US is also pushing for certain entering to the Indian market because they know that it's a growing market. So some of the products, like nuts and wines and spirits, etc., it would be entering into the Indian market. Now the commerce ministers have made it clear that, it will not be zero in many cases. It will be some tariff, reduced tariff, and also certain quotas. Now, all these details, I guess, are still being worked it out.
So is it your understanding that there will be first there will be an interim trade agreement? That will be another piece of document that we will get to see in black and white?
Yes. And then after that interim, again, there'll be another full trade, bilateral trade agreement. So it means there is a, certain things are being negotiated. We'll have, maybe it will take a couple of weeks and couple of months till we have the final picture, how things are. But the good thing is that ultimately India would be able to export. And then, in fact, another thing which, in fact, which I think has been raised by many people about commitment by India of 500 billion import in 5 years. Because today we have about 46 billion imports. So it means we'll be kind of doubling our imports from the United States. That's what kind of intention is. These are just intentions.
Is that difficult?
In the overall picture, because what perhaps we expect that as a result of the final agreement, trade between India and the United States anyway will go up.
Yes.
Quite substantially.
In
so
terms
as a
of
result,
energy in the first place.
Absolutely. And then, in fact, some of the products, like the major imports from aeroplanes and in the aviation sector and also in the energy sector, it will go up. So those things are actually, I think is useful for India to integrate Indian economy with the US economy. But only I think the problematic, controversial part perhaps would be at the moment, linking this with the Indian import from Russian oil.
Right.
Now, the order which says that India has kind of given a commitment, although the Indian government hasn't really made out clear at the moment, because we have said that we are talking about Indian energy security, so that we have a given commitment that India will reduce this oil from Russia imports. And second thing is that, it will be reviewed, and if India start buying again, then, there could be a reimposed. Now, these are things I think that our government will make certain things clear in the coming days.
Okay.
But obviously, we are buying from Russia because because except one or two companies, other companies are not under sanctions, and we were buying even below the price which was set up by the European Union and others. So there we are not violating anything. This is the market players. But of course, if some other resources from other countries, whether from the United States or from Venezuela, if some other, gas and oil is available, maybe
Right.
some other companies will
Right,
buy.
we're free to do that,
But
yes.
I think linking these two things will be a bit of a problematic. But I think the government will make it clear in the days to come.
Yes, he certainly, of course, the T's get crossed and the I's dotted, and we have final documents to peruse, everything will become more and more clear. Thanks a lot for joining us for the moment, Professor Sachdeva. Let's get you a little bit of sports. Well, India begin their T20 World Cup title defense against the US in Mumbai very shortly from now. With unmatched batting depth, enviable all-round resources and spinners in their prime, India have everything in their arsenal to become the first nation to win consecutive T20 World Cups and claim the trophy on home soil. Captain Suryakumar Yadav's side is coming on the back of a commanding 4-1 series victory over New Zealand, boasting of the best win percentage among the top 10 teams since the 2024 T20 World Cup triumph in Barbados. Meanwhile, the US, known for springing surprises, will look to secure a huge upset win to kick off their campaign. And that's all we have for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. And for those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India's mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS. Just scan the QR code on the screen to download the app right away. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Gautam Roy, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.